I'm rejoicing. I'm glad in it. Welcome to my YouTube show, 177 Laws of Might, episode number 5. As you know, I don't go long in these shows. I just talk a little bit about my book that's coming out, 177 Laws of Might. This is show number 5. I want to exhort and lift up one of the chapters in my book I think is quite amazing. I speak about, there were 3 different flights that happened in the year 2009 that was quite traumatic for our nation. The first one was Flight 1549. The second one was Flight 3507. And I think the third one I talk about in the book is Flight 447. And I don't want to focus on Flight 1549, which is Sully, or Flight 447. But I want to bring up some principles that's in my book about Flight 3507. And this is when the Captain Marvin Winslow and his assistant pilot, Ms. Rebecca Shaw, did not respond to a stall properly. And this plane fell out the sky and fell into someone's house, killing a father. The daughter and the mom survived. Altogether, 49 people died. In my book, 177 Laws of Might, I deal with the laws of how you respond or how you react to stalling. Stall means that something is being held up, it's not moving as fast as you like, or it's not operating properly. And your wisdom to how you respond to stuff will determine, do your plane make it there, or does it crash? Sad thing about this story, the plane crashed because they didn't respond properly to the stall. Now, when a plane stalls deeply, the nose of the plane is kind of sitting upright. And so when it's stalling, you're supposed to kind of push the throttle towards the floor. So it kind of levels the plane out and work along with the air. Now, I'm not a pilot. I'm just explaining some of the stuff that's in my book. And what happened was, somehow Marvin and his assistant pilot did not respond properly to the stall. Instead of pushing the nose throttle down, they pulled back on it a few times, causing the plane to fall out the sky, crash into, of course, like I said, the house, killing everybody. So there's some laws of might I learned from this episode, I learned from this historical event. Not a happy way to learn, but you got to learn sometimes from people's mistakes. When you are in a stall situation in life and it seems like you're not going any place and you're being held up, lower yourself. Go to a humble position. Be teachable, be humble, be willing to make some changes so that you can come out the stall and move towards greater things. By them not pushing the nose towards the ground, they pulled back. They had what I call, they reacted, they didn't respond. Respond would be, let me check out my prior training, my prior equipping classes, and according to my training, I'm supposed to respond to a stall by pushing the nose towards the floor, forward, and that will cause the plane to level out. But somehow, something may have distracted them. And so, when they did the research on why this plane crashed, there was concern, why didn't Marvin, the Captain Winslow, and Sister Shaw, first officer, why didn't they understand what you're supposed to do when it comes to stalling in midair? Now, there were a couple of things I bring out in this book. When they was having their last conversation before they crashed, Miss Rebecca was talking about how much ice was on the wings. And you know, ice doesn't fly. Ice is solid. It pulls you to the ground. And she was complaining, I never flown this much ice before. I never flown this much ice before. I can hear like a stench of fear. And then Marvin was talking about how many hours he had in the air, which is probably less than he should have had, but he's good. He can handle it. All the time long, they don't even know they're on their way to their death. So there are a few things I've learned. When this plane crashed and all 49 people died, many lawsuits were placed against this company, including Continental, who had a connection agreement with this company. I guess the Continental needed some pilots. And some people said, and it's been allegedly, that Marvin failed some checkpoints, which means he really didn't have the real experience on how to fly a plane in this type of condition or this type of weather. So here's some laws. You want to always be trained and equipped to handle all situations, as many as possible. I really think that what I'm learning in life is it isn't enough just to get your degree in college or get your high school diploma or go to school and get a trade. The one that is experienced, the one who has the most experience, who is the most marketable and can handle any situation at hand, that's the one you want to hire. That's the one that makes the most money, the one that has the most marketable skills. Okay, now that which was liquid became solid. And even though the research said it didn't look like that there was really flying on a lot of ice, but that was the conversation between Rebecca and Marvin. A lot of ice on the wings. And Rebecca, the assistant, watch this. This was the assistant. Number one, they said she was sick before she got on the plane. And number two, doesn't sound like she's a very efficient assistant, because apparently before they land, she is, it's in my book, you're supposed to let the wings out at the right time and let the wheels down, and she did it before the time. She wasn't in sync with the leader. One of the laws I talk about, make sure you have a friend that can assist you, a true friend that won't only flatter you, but always push you for greater and also come alongside to uplift you. These are different laws that's in my book. And sad thing is, and it's so sad, that right before the plane crashed, Marvin is cursing and knew that their life was over. All because possibly he wasn't fully trained and equipped to be in that situation in midair. And this is why I encourage my readers and those that buy my book and study my book. The key to life is who's training you, who is equipping you. Listen to me carefully here on my YouTube show. The key to life is, before trouble comes, who is training you and who is equipping you. Now that's you don't understand how powerful that is. And did you know that your first two equippers of life should have been your parents? That's why it's spelled Parents. PA is short for pair, rent, the pair that rents. So when God allows your parents to rent you, or you rent your parents, there's supposed to be some type of exchange. Your father's supposed to give you instructions, give you commandments, and your mother's supposed to instruct you, and or either or, it doesn't matter. But this couple is supposed to train, equip, coach, mentor you, watch this, from the womb exactly to the age of 5, to the age of 8, to the age of 12, to the age of 21, and get ready for 25. Now notice how I said that. I said that you're going to learn that whoever has trained you and equipped you, listen to me carefully, watch me carefully, will be part of the reason how you get through the stalls of life, how things don't work your way. When you run into problems and situations, you should be able to revert back to who's been training you and who's been equipping you. That's very important. And I've learned in my life, in my 54 years of life, I have reserved information, trained teachers that I can learn from. I focus on laws of training and equipping and developing before the day of trouble, before your life gets into a stall, when things be held up, things are not moving as fast as you like it. Your life is not going in the way it should go. You're pretty disappointed. You're feeling discouraged. You don't feel like you're on top of your game. People have left you. People have forsaken you. People you thought would be there for you are no longer there. That's called a stall. And how you respond to that stall will determine how your life levels out and how you get through the storm. Sad thing is, pilot Marvin Renslow and first officer pilot. And so, key thing is this, is what I learned. Where you go to on a regular basis, whoever is speaking into your life, whoever is training you and coaching you, that will determine how you handle those times in your life when you run into cold seasons, when things are not hot and popping, when stuff is terrible, when you're getting laid off, or you got some bad grades in your college class, or you're trying to get through a test. You need to know how to take your throttle, push it towards the ground, and humble yourself. Pushing the throttle forward, symbolic to me, and a law of might, is a time of humility. When you ask questions of others, when you say, listen, I'm going through a tough time. Excuse me, I'm going through a tough time, and I need some advice. I need some wisdom. I need to be around some people that can encourage me. I don't need to hang out with people who will continue to help me stall. I want to find those who will show me how to handle the turbulent times in my life. And I'm trying to tell you, this is the key to how you survive those tough seasons. Marvin Renslow, the pilot, possibly, allegedly, was slow to training. He did not get the required hours that was needed to really fly this plane. And you won't get the full story because you're dealing with lawsuits. So a lot of information is really never fully public. But if I can just use my eyes and imagination, I've learned in life that you need to have as much training and equipping as possible. I remember I used to fly every year, fly in and out the country to Nassau, Bahamas, and I sat under the feet of Dr. and Apostle Dr. Miles Monroe. And I would spend thousands of dollars on DVDs and cassette tapes and CDs and books and seminars and workshops. And people would tell me, it's not worth all that, Mike. You spend too much money on that. That's too much. That's wasted time. But I've learned that in my present ministry, there have been so many people stalling, sick, defeated, and all the stuff I've learned from Dr. Miles, I was able to apply to their lives. So when they used to tell me it wasn't worth it, don't give your tithes and offers, don't give your money, don't buy, don't go, I ignored all them folk, and I continue to be trained and equipped by the best. So when stall time came, I was able to apply these laws. Now in my book, I deal with the chapter called Ice Don't Fly. And I deal with the importance of training and equipping and why your level of training and equipping will allow you to survive tough times. So while you're in a good season, while you're living in your parents' house, while you're still in high school, go out your way to spend time at a library. Find a mentor. Find someone that can train you. I gotta go. Thank you for watching my YouTube show. Love you.